let me ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win. Just win.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, man. I'm one of your hosts, the SC Raiders Talk, aka boy Eric. And over here to this side, got it right. Once again, we're on a streak. My brother, home of the Brown Crackers and the congregation, my brother RaiderTwuan in the building. What's good, Twan?
Hey, what's good? You know what it is. Every Wednesday, two brothers for one nation. And y'all know it's the Raider Nation. Blessings to everybody, especially the congregation.
It's a fact, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Like he said. And also, you know what week it is. It's finally week 1 of the regular season. Finally, this offseason has been way too damn long, like always. And we're back to some Raiders football this week. All the emotions and the mental health of most of us is about to get dictated by the Raiders. So, of course, before we get into the Chargers and what the Raiders could do and the predictions, let me give a shout out to who's here so far. Shout out to Ray Love. What's good? Salute. Dark in the building. Salute. Good to see you. Hope all as well. Shout out to Felipe in the building. Raiders from Brazil. Check. Shout out to Brazil, man. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for being here. The Black Hole Brazil check. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I appreciate you being here. At the Estrada, salute like always. Good to see everybody here, man. Blessings. Hopefully everybody's having a great week so far. SoCal Sal in the building. What up, SoCal? Good to see you. Lakers in 5 in the building. What's good? Egalitarian in the building. What's good? Essie loves to streak. What? Here's Circus in the building. What's good, Circus? Good to see you, man. Desert, salute. Salute. Hopefully I didn't skip anybody, man. Like I said, blessings. Hopefully everybody's having a great week, and hopefully everybody's excited for this weekend. It's right around the corner. Less than a week from kickoff, pretty much. Actually, kickoff is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Ravens Chiefs, the first NFL game. So that's one to watch at the end of the day. It's one of our rivals against a team that is predicted to be in the playoffs. So we're gonna see how they shape up and stuff like that. And also for a lot of our fantasy teams, most of us got a player from either or team. But here and there, the most important thing is that there's Raiders football. Shout out to All Eyes on G. What's good? What's good? What's good? Always, Felipe. I think you're new here, right? Hey, we always try to get to everybody's comment over here, man. We try to let everybody be heard. Less than a week for Harbaugh to play an away game in his own stadium. That's a fact, man. Let's get straight into it. Hey, Twan, how you feeling, man, about the NFL week 1 this week? It's finally here. What you feeling, man?
Man, I'm excited. You know, as much as I was excited about the preseason and, you know, all of that going on, like, it's nothing like when the bullets are really flying, you know what I'm saying, for the teams. And, you know, of course I'm going to be watching my team, you know, and seeing what how they step out there on, you know, on the first week in you know, in whatever they call it over there, but we know it's another home game for us.
Yeah.
But just good to watch, you know, football in general. So I'm not only going to watch the Raiders, I'm going to be watching everybody else because, hey, this is how we get our, you know, look at, you know, what teams are going to be about, what they're going to look like. You know, might see some guys that might stand out, you know, outside of the normal, and those are guys that you got to keep an eye out on. You know what I'm saying? So when we come around to those games or come around to those teams, then we will know a little more, I'm
Yeah.
saying, week by week, what's going on with that player. So I'm excited to just dive into football in general.
Mhm.
So excited about it.
Facts, man. And of course, the off season's always freaking long as fuck. Pause on that, right? But of course, with the Raiders, of course, being week one, it's a divisional game. I mean, at the end, this is one of the most important games of the season. I mean, every game is important, but these are one of the most important ones. At the end of the day, somebody's got to take down the Chiefs eventually, man. And if there's a year to do it, I thought it was gonna be last year, but it wasn't. It should be this year, man. I think it's time for somebody to take them reins, and it should be the Raiders. At the end of the day, I want the Raiders to be there, but we got to see how they are week one. At the end of the day, preseason was kind of vanilla, very vanilla. At the end of the day, a lot of people didn't perform either at a high level or the potential that we thought they could be. People like Tyree Wilson and stuff like that. But then we had a lot of people out there that played really goddamn well, right? So like Jacorian Bennett and company, right? So I'm just excited to see what they're capable of in the first game. I'm very interested to see it, and hopefully we win, man. And that's what I want. And that's what I'm predicting. But obviously, I'm not gonna say too much about it until we get there. Shout out to Javier. What's good, Javier? Good to see you. Hope all as well. Shout out to Bambino in the building. Salute, salute. It's so part of the league. Gave us a home game to start the season. I know, right? They did. I wish this was a primetime game. We didn't get too many primetime games this year, but this just, you feel me? Oh, that's too huge. I need to lower that. But anyways, let's just go straight into it, right? Obviously, game one, the Chargers. First, I'm gonna ask you, Twan, about the season in general, man. Do you think the expectations for this season is realistic from what you heard? Media, people in the chat, people in general in comments, everywhere you have seen different things say their prediction. Do you think has been a realistic outlook of the Raiders, or you think it's been an underrated outlook and you think it should be better than what people have been predicting? Oh, the
I
season.
think it's a little bit of both, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. I've seen, and when we get to that point for us,
Mhm.
it'll make more sense. You know, I think there's people that have
Mhm.
very lofty expectations,
Mhm.
which means they're rating it higher than like,
Mhm.
hey, come bring that back down a little bit, or
Yeah.
But then you have, of course, we know as long as we are carrying the shield and our shield is silver and black, we know that this the media is going to say whatever they're going to say. What I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're always going to be the underdog. We're always going to be not too good this year, and almost to the extent that we should be ranked as a team, in the 28s, 29s, down
Mhm.
in the basement. And I don't think that's the case. So I see both of it. I have heard some people that seem like they're somewhat in the ballpark of where I'm at. So but yeah, I think it's all over, but I think the mass media, the, I don't even think they do their homework on this team. And that just shows you, um, you know, you can get paid and not do your homework.
Mhm. And that's a fact, man. For me, obviously, like I said, is it realistic or overhyped? I think I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I think it's in the middle. I think I've seen a lot of overhyped things, and I also see realistic. Some people may say my prediction's overhyped, which even I would say myself that I did overhype it a little bit. But it's just belief in the team that we have. It's a different type of feeling than what I had the past couple of years, and that's the only reason why last year I didn't give a prediction, but this year I did because I'm more expecting more from the team because it got better. At the end of the day, say what you say, we lost Josh Jacobs, right? We lost these guys, but at the end of the day, we got better. The quarterback situation might be not something that everybody's pleased with, but at the end of the day, we got the firepower to score points. I mean, at the end of the day. So shout out to everybody coming in, man. Let me shout out more people coming in. Ray Love was good. My 2 cents in the building was good. Was good. You already know, man. You see it right there. Subscribe, man. Um, of course, all eyes on G in the building. Jaw Raider in the building. Chokers lost DJ Chark with the hip injury. He's gonna be out. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about. Shout out to Jaw Raider in the building. What's good? What's good? Good to see you. Daniel Berry, sports highlight. What's good? SC Coach Pierce preaches start strong. If we start poorly, should we change quarterback? He's the type of dude to change quarterbacks. I mean, if you paid attention to what he said weeks ago in the press conference, one of the press conference, and it always stuck in my head. He said Gardner Minshew is the best option to start off strong. Why would he say it like that? To start off strong. And I'm gonna toss it to you, Twuan. What you feel about Antonio Pierce a couple weeks ago saying to start off strong, and then Javier's question right here.
I read the same thing. As much as people, because some people are on, this Minshew mania, hype, and that's and look, I'm fine with that. Do what you do, but Antonio Pierce, even his tone, if we're still trying to get to know our head coach, but one thing we know about our head coach is he really doesn't pull back much, too many punches. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much talks it and says it how it is. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, you can tell in his tone that he was like still kind of like, hey, and one of the things that stuck out to me in that same phrasing of comments, he said, I look at this, quarterly, which means, every 4 games, I'm making an assessment. So if there's a situation where he said he said, hey, Minshew's the guy that's going to help us start off fast, and we don't start off fast, don't be surprised when number 12 goes out there and tries his luck at, moving forward. And that might be, and I'll say it like this, just to be on, I like AOC. I thought AOC was going to be our starter. But even with that being said, if Minshew doesn't do well in these first 4 games and he switches over to AOC, and then AOC doesn't do well in the next 4 games, he might even go back to Minshew, say, hey, Minshew, you sat for 4 weeks. Hopefully you got, whatever issues squared away. Let's see what you can do. And I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? As much as it would be a traditional thing to have, one quarterback, and he be the quarterback for the whole whole season, that would be a lovely situation. But in the reality of where we are right now, I rather him try his best to throw the kitchen sink at some of these games. And when you throw the kitchen sink at some of these games, you have players, that you started out with, but hey, if he's not cracking it up, let's see what the next guy, next guy can do, and see if he can hold this down. Because no matter what it is, with this head coach, I'm just truly believing that he's really with the motto of the Raiders, and that's just win. So
that's a fact, man. Shout out to Sarkis. Mitchell's a vet. AOC is still new to the league and needs to learn the playbook. I think that's why AP said that. I think if he drops the 3 or 4 games straight, he's ridden with Aiden. I actually believes if he doesn't have a great first half, he will switch him from right there. Shout out to EJ Raider in the building. What's good, EJ? Good to see you. Hope all as well. AP setting up AOC for the future. That's a fact. Shout out to Cool Kev in the building. What's good, Cool Kev? AOC got to eat the banquet chicken before getting to Popeyes. God damn. But yeah, obviously for me, with the quarterback situation, I think it's because Antonio Pierce has the mind of a player. I mean, he has the mind of a player, of a fan, and now as a coach, right? A little bit of the mindset of 3. Mostly as a player, though. And you can see as a fan, too. He knows that as a player, when you're young, you need everything to go right for you. You need to learn. You need to get taught. You need some good coaches around you. You need some time to develop into the player you could be in the league. It's not a easy transition from college to the NFL. It never is, and that's why the draft is always not promised. Some players that look really good in college could go to the NFL and look like one of the worst players in the NFL, and that's just because sometimes it doesn't translate. And I think Antonio Pierce understands that, and I think that's why he set him back and was like, "AOC, sit back. Your name will be called eventually, but right now, Gardner Minshew is our best ability to win now and to start off strong." Which there's nothing wrong with that because at the end of the day, Gardner Minshew is one of those guys that's proven himself. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler last year. I know the Pro Bowl got a little bit declined and it's not the best of the best, but he still was a Pro Bowler, man. You got to give it some credit, right?
Yeah. You
Mhm,
and Eric, let me add on to what you said
mhm.
because it just sparked something
Yeah.
for me in regards to the with the rookie quarterbacks,
Mhm,
right? They, when they were in college, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna say a name and it'll fit right with what we're saying, and this is what happened last year. You have when you have a quarterback that just came out of college, guess what that quarterback typically has if he's a really good quarterback? A really good
a good
offensive line.
offensive
You know what I'm
line. Yeah.
saying? That offensive line, not saying that offensive line is an NFL ready super offensive line, but they were good enough to handle whatever was in college. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have, quarterbacks coming out of Alabama and these power schools, their offensive lines are solid for college football. So you
Mhm.
have a quarterback that's been used to a solid offensive line and was producing well in college. But when you get to to the NFL, it's a whole different monster. And especially in our situation where our offensive line still is a question mark on if some of these guys will pan out for us. You know what I'm saying? Is it really safe to put a rookie, in that type of situation, a la, and I'm gonna say the name, Bryce Young. Bryce Young was a good quarterback coming out of college, and he had a fairly decent offensive line. But when he went over to the Panthers, what did he not have over there? An offensive line. Hence the reason why a lot of people want to call him a bum, but it was really down to the protection that he had. He literally had to run for his life almost on every play. So that's also the hope too, is that maybe this offensive line down the road, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, and I don't want to just put bad juju on Minshew like that, but maybe Minshew doesn't play well, but the offensive line is finally
Mhm.
jailed. Well, that works perfectly for a player like AOC that needs, you know what I'm saying, for more than one reason, needs a solid offensive line.
Facts, man. Shout out to everybody, man. AP can't afford to have Aiden throw picks. He has to go with the experience right now. That's a fact. I'm comfortable with Minshew. He's one of the greatest game managers in the league, and he is. And he's got the players around him to do that, right? Shout out to Cuatro Niner. Raiders going to give the Chiefs the rest of AFC West some John. Shout out to John Leon in the building. What's good, John? Good to see you. Hope all as well, man. Shout out to everybody coming in. Hope all as well. Blessings, 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 man.
I understood
Um,
that in Spanish, but
you
yeah,
did.
go ahead.
But of course, kind of talking about the quarterback situation, right? Shout out to Steve in the building. What's good, Steve? Who would be the captains? Actually, there was a presser today. I don't know if you guys watched the presser. I ended up watching it. Antonio Pierce came out and a reporter asked him that question, and his response to it was later on this week. That was his response. So we will find out in the next coming days, pretty sure before Sunday. And obviously, I would predict Friday. I would predict either Friday or Saturday. That would be my
Yeah.
prediction of when they will announce it. But obviously, if I were to predict it, Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, Spillane, uh, Daniel Carlson, or AJ Cole, and then I don't know for Gardner Minshew maybe because he's a good locker room guy. He could be one. He's the
By
quarterback
default, I
by
think.
default. Yeah. So that's what
And,
I would
and,
be
and,
predicting,
and
right?
and no disrespect to him by when I say by default, but by
Mhm.
default, in most cases, your quarterback is going to
Is
be
the captain. Yeah.
your captain. But I don't know because if that, and that might be something to even talk about too, because
Yeah.
if if AP's talking about he might do one of these with the quarterbacks, is it does it make sense to have your captain sit in the bench?
Mm,
So I don't know if You know what I'm saying? That might be, the captain. The captain might be whoever's under center that week or whatever. But Colton Miller, I think Colton Miller is going to be on the offensive line. I think he's going to be one of those guys. As a captain.
Oh yeah, true.
That hey, we'll see. And like I agree with you, Eric. I think it might be Friday that they release that.
And obviously, speaking of quarterback, let's get into it, man. Which obviously, let me get the banner out real quick. Gardner Minshew's first test as a quarterback won. And and let me reword it a little bit. First test as a quarterback won for the Raiders. Because obviously he was quarterback one for the Colts for a fairly amount and some other places as well. But before we get to that question, obviously, have you seen the Chargers fullback? We'll talk about it right now, Bambino. Shout out to June S. Will our O line have success this year? I'm hoping, and I think with this change of scheme, it will, as long as they stay healthy. That's the most important thing. But talk to me about Gardner's Minshew first test, man. How well you think he's gonna do? What are you predicting from him? And are you sparks or no sparks or just enough? What you think?
He better do well. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. I please, people, don't get me as a Minshew hater. I'm just saying he better produce because AP, Coach AP, ain't playing around. That it makes sense. AP ain't playing around. Okay, simple as that. I think he better start off hot because if he doesn't, like we talked about earlier, AP ain't scared to pull the trigger on his other quarterback if that's the case. And I think he's going to get tested because that D line that they have over there ain't no joke.
Yeah, ain't no
And
joke.
and less, as much as we want to hate on it, that D line is actually pretty good early in the season. And you guys, those that been following the Raiders and know about the AFC West, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Early in the season, they're a problem. But it's going to be up to Minshew to navigate all that stuff. Is Minshew going to have the complete control that if he sees something that don't smell right, he can go to the next play? You know what I'm saying? And audible. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some of that out of Minshew. In certain situations, don't stick into the same play knowing it's not going to pan out. And please, and I'm saying this for coaching, please don't think you can put a tight end on Khalil Mack. That was the whole issue and people that want to trash AOC about, he got sacked 5 times. If you go back and look at the tape, you'll see how many times that freaking Josh McDaniels put a tight end on Khalil Mack. Any good defensive lineman or DN eats up a tight end any day. So please don't put a tight end on Khalil Mack because we already know what the situation is going to be.
Facts.
So that hopefully he does his job. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to El Capitan Rafucho for the $2 super chat, man. What's good, Nation? Ralph in the building. What's good, Ralph? Good to see you, man. I appreciate that. Hey, salute to you. Salute to you. Hope all's well.
Raphael's
Hope
a
all's well.
baller,
Blessings,
man.
blessings. And all right, shout out to Charm City. Jay in the building. What's good, Jay? Good to see you. Hope all's well. Minshew will do slightly better. However, let's not get our hopes up. We have to let Minshew prove he has what it takes and lead this team to more victories. And that was the whole point, that if you guys have been watching my lives for a little bit, I always said the same thing about the way I'm gonna look at things. And I always said the first, second, and third regular season game is going to dictate how I truly 100% feel about a certain case, certain player, coaches, the team as a whole. Because all I have right now is the off season. All I have is film from the preseason, and all I have is the film from the practices. Now, that's all with a grain of salt. It's only going to give you a little bit, right? They're not going to show everything. So obviously they're also going into a game where, and let's just get straight into the game, right? They're going into a game that it's a Chargers team that we don't know what they're capable of. And the reason why I say that is because they got a new coach, right? We knew what it was with Staley. We knew that Staley is garbage, and we knew that their injuries were horrible, but everybody's pretty much healthy except for their wide receiver. They did lose a couple wide receivers. They lost their running back in Eckler, and then they substituted it with pretty much the Ravens offense. It's literally the Ravens offense. They got their Ravens offensive coordinator, and they got their running backs. And then they lost their two main receivers. So it's a team that we don't know what they're capable of and what they're going to try to do. And all we have is tape from goddamn what? Michigan, from
The Ravens.
from even what
Maybe
else?
the
Even
Niners.
maybe the Niners, and last year especially the tape from the certain players that are still on the team. That's the only film we got. You feel me? So it's gonna be a surprise. And even Antonio Pierce came out today and said that, hey, practically said the same thing I'm saying right now, that we don't know. Like but they're ready. And Antonio Pierce said they're ready for any adjustments during the game. They're ready to make them adjustments, and that's what it is. And to be a great team, you got to be able to adjust during a game. And it's gonna be very telling with this first game, very telling on what they're capable of. So let's just get straight into hardball, you feel me, and the Raiders in general. So the Raiders defense, right? We know how good they are. We know how good they can be. And then we all know Harbaugh's offense, right? One of the best Michigan teams of all time, right? We could say that. Led a team to the Super Bowl pretty much, has a pretty good winning record. I think is either number 1, 2, or 3 in the most winning coach in the NFL in his whole career, something like that, right? So here's the question to you, man. The Raiders defense, can they stop the Harbaugh offense with what they got now?
I believe so. Even though they haven't shown it to me.
Yeah.
And that's what has me pausing a little bit. One thing that I know about Jim Harbaugh is he loves to run the ball. And with Herbert, and his injury, even though he's going to be able to play, how mobile is he going to be? So, they're going to be relying on their run game. And what I haven't seen, even though we've had some mixtures of 2s, 3s, and everything else out there, I haven't really seen us stop the run. But I have hope, and hear me, I have hope that they can stop the run.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, I think our defense is on paper we're that talented, but they got to show it. Simple as that.
And you just said it, because in the preseason they couldn't stop the run still. Harbaugh's gonna attack that. That's Harbaugh's specialty, running the ball. You've seen it in Michigan, and now you're gonna see it with the Chargers, and especially with and this leads me to exactly the game in general. If you look at the Chargers depth chart, which if anybody doesn't know the depth chart, I'll tell you right now, their offense. They have a decent offensive line. I think, in my opinion, they has a pretty good offensive line. I mean, Rashawn Slater, Zion Johnson, and then obviously Joel, which Joel was one of those guys I had on my radar from Notre Dame. A really good tackle, but at the same time, it's a rookie on that side, right? Then their wide receivers, and this is why I think most importantly they're gonna run the ball even more than what we all are predicting, right? Joshua Palmer, Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson, DJ Chark, but DJ Chark's out. So it's literally Joshua Palmer, Lad McConkey, the rookie, Quentin Johnson, Brendan Rice, Darius Davis. If you think for a second they're going to pass the ball a lot, I predict you're highly mistaken. They are going to run the ball. They have an offensive coordinator that worked with a running quarterback like Lamar Jackson and a running back core that consisted of Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, and a decent offensive line. They are going to run the fucking ball on the Raiders as much as they can and tire us out and then eventually pass the ball. That's my prediction for that. What do you think about the game in general and their offense, man, and stuff like that?
I think that's what it is. You know,
Mhm.
there is no surprise that the offensive coordinator came over from the Ravens. What did the Ravens do? A majority of their offense
Mhm.
run the ball.
Ball. Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, well, not every once in a while, he would get he got his touches, but passing it to the tight end. You know what I'm saying? Mark Andrews, which obviously he's a talent. He needs to get the ball, but outside of that, they ran the ball.
Yeah.
And guess who? Like you said, those two running backs that were over there running the ball for them, they're now over here,
Yeah.
with the Chargers. So I think, like I said, I think our defense can do it
Yeah.
on paper,
Yeah.
but they got to show it.
Show it. Mhm.
And I'm calling out Christian Wilkins. I'm calling out John Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling out our linebackers. I don't want to see Diablo tackling and going backwards. I want him tackling and going forward.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Hitting the person and they're going backwards, not him going,
Yeah.
okay, I tackled you, but
Mhm.
I'm on my wallet. Like,
Mhm.
lay the hat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And Spillane's gonna be key in this. I don't see too much of Eichenberg because he just came back. To be honest with you, as much as I would love for him to go out there and thump, you know what I'm saying? Because he's another thumper. We might have to wait another week. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But it's gonna be our front. That's gonna have to
Facts.
carry this through.
Facts, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Herman coming in. What's good? What's good? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Shout out to you, man. Dobbins only played 7 games in 3 years, and that's a fact. That's their concern, right? Their injuries. Once again, their injuries, right? You just had to add Brandon Rice. I put respect on USC, all right? We just beat LSU. That's all I gotta say, all right? They said we couldn't do it. They said we couldn't do it. They said we couldn't do it, and we did it. And we struggled against the run in preseason. We did. The only thing, and this is the thing, right, John Leon? In the beginning of the season, I like seeing it half glass full. And I think with the preseason, it was very vanilla. Very vanilla. That's just
Mhm.
and that's just the realistic, right? That's just me speaking realistic, right? Like just real. It was vanilla. And that's what it was. That's no excuse, obviously, right? No excuse. Because I'm still saying we always struggled against the run. But I'm saying that's the real because it happened, right? That's pretty said we can defend the run, and that's what I'm saying, right? Shout out to D Menace in the building. Was good. That 6'4", 300-pound fullback. Yeah, they're gonna run the ball. I didn't even know they had a 300-pound fullback. Do they? I
They
didn't see that.
they
Do they?
uh they converted one of their D linemen into a fullback
What the?
because I guess they didn't have a fullback. So I guess one of their D linemen used to be a fullback or something like that. I haven't read into who he is.
Yeah.
It just, but they said, yeah, he's a D lineman, and he's going to be doing some fullback. So, but even with and that's why I said early in the season, you know what I'm saying? I feel like
Yeah.
I'm repeating myself, but I really want, Raider Nation to get this is early in the season. There, you know what I'm saying? Of course we can say, oh yeah, Shark ain't healthy or whatever, but pretty much the whole team is healthy now. So we with J.K. Dobbins only playing 7 games in 3 years, he gonna be healthy week 1. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to worry about. We got to worry about week 1 and take it as that. So
Yeah.
Don't fall into the illusion. Oh, this team's always injured because
Yeah.
they're not injured week 1. You know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, you know what I'm saying. Make Herbert's a little nicked, whatever. Okay, Chark's gone. Well, not gone, but he's hurt. But everybody
Yeah.
else is ready to go.
Facts. Those receivers sound sorry, but you have to remember, SC, we have a bad habit of making FedEx drivers appear like Pro Bowlers. That's a fact. That is a fact. We always play up to our our opponent, man, and I hate that. I hope it changes. I always beg every year, please change, change, change. I hope it's this year. I hope.
Man,
I hope, man, because I can't. Damn, I
be
can't do
we,
it.
we be sitting there, you know what I'm saying, with our food, you know what I'm saying, our little drink of choice, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I'm sitting with some brown crackers and, and and all of a sudden we're like, who is this wide receiver?
yeah,
Who is this wide receiver going for 100 yards on us? We don't know who this guy is. And all of a sudden we made one of the bums be and I'm saying bum, but we know everybody in NFL
yeah.
is
It's
a
good. Yeah,
decent player. But you know what I'm saying, we let one of these bums have their day on us, and that yeah that I'm tired of that.
fact. Shout out to Omar. He says, "You think we use Wilkins on red zone as fullback as well as Dolphins did too?" Now that's interesting, right? Will they use it? I don't know, right? The only reason why is because they brought in tight ends like a block. And I feel like if anything, they'll use an extra offensive lineman than anything else. I think that that would happen. I don't think they would make a D tackle go to fullback the way the Chargers are doing it. Um, but is it an option? Yes, it is.
I
Mhm.
I think we're good at tight end. I think all of our tight ends can actually play
Good block.
fullback.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Brock Bowers is a smaller version of a fullback,
yeah,
but if you put Michael Mayer is lined up back there too, and Michael Mayer is one of our bigger, you know what I'm saying, bigger fullbacks. So they might try it with Bowers, because again, that might be his primary,
yeah.
not primary, but that's kind of like one of the spots that is his per se. You know what I'm saying? And even Harrison Bryant, can line up
Yeah,
as a fullback. That's what's saving us and actually giving us more room on our roster is because we don't have a fullback and we're using the tight ends. And in certain schemes, a tight end can fit well as a
as
fullback.
the fullback. Yeah,
It's not like, oh
100%.
dang, we ain't got a fullback, we're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because there's been history that's shown other teams that did the same thing. The Patriots did that for a while too. When they had Hernandez and Gronk. You know what I'm saying? They lined them up in the backfield. So um, we'll just see what the Rook does. And if he doesn't, if he can't handle the job, he might have to give that over to Big Mike.
Mm-hmm. Uh, just a power at 1 yard bully ball. I feel that we go see what happens, right? We almost lost to Eastern Dipstick. God damn. But let's talk about a little bit of the defense. They got a pretty good defensive line here. Joey Bosa, obviously, Khalil Mack. They added Bud Dupree, which I think was a really good addition there. Then Tuli Tupolito, which coming from USC, I said it, man. I'm gonna continue to say it because I know a lot of people in the chat, specifically people like All Eyes out here, man, be saying that USC don't create good players, but Tuli Tupolito out here, man, looking like a really good goddamn defensive lineman. And that's their backup in that case, right? Then they have Asante Samuel, Derwin James, Christian Fulton, Denzel Perriman, which we're very familiar with Denzel Perriman, right? On that linebacking core there. So a pretty good defense on their side. Then obviously we know what we have, right? A lot of people still have questions in our defensive back room, but I think it's a really good defensive back room. I think they could do really well. And then obviously our defensive line is gonna be one of the best, I predict. So talk to me a little bit about their defense, man, and if how our offense is gonna attack the Chargers defense. What do you think they're gonna do? Run more, pass more, or both, or a whole bunch of stuff?
It's gonna have to be a balanced situation because we have a lot of pass catching options there, but it's going to start off by solidifying the run, um, and that might be a challenge.
Mhm.
But I'll just say this, and some people may not like me because the guy that I'm about to say, um, they have a blessing and a curse on their team.
Yeah.
And that blessing is in the run game,
Mhm.
they have Denzel Perryman.
Mm.
But in the pass game, their curse is Denzel Perryman.
Mhm.
So, I would really be looking at how to exploit that.
Yeah.
Whether it's I don't want to just say, oh, put Brock Bowers out there because we know Brock Bowers has a little more juice than Mayer, but I think Mayer can still body up, you know, um, Perriman in the
Yeah.
past, because even when he was over here with us, and I like Denzel Perriman as a person and just what he represents on and off the field. One of his downfalls was, a lot of times it was third down and there goes a pass and hoping Denzel Perriman can cover it, and he just couldn't catch up to it. So that is definitely in the pass game something that I would be looking at to exploit, just the Denzel Perryman side. And then we know what DA is going to bring to. I mean, DA is going to bring to the table against the guy that's been running his lip,
Yeah.
and DA has a bad taste in his mouth right now, because of that. So there might be a series where it seems like it's the DA show, just to prove his point. But I think it's going to be important to not get too fancy, because I think getting too fancy with with their defense could possibly get us in trouble too. So I think it's going to stem with the run
Mhm.
and have that balance.
Shout out to Raiders Unleashed, and the bidding was good. Raiders Unleashed, good to see you. Hope ball as well. Shout out to everybody coming on in. Denzel Perriman's a walking get mouse target. He will be attacked, and that kind of leads me. Shout out to D Menace as well. He said, "Hit that like button, nation. You already know, man. Already over here, stack them up all the time. That means hit that like button, man. It'll help everything, and I'll greatly appreciate it. We'll greatly appreciate it, right? But speaking of what you guys are talking about as far as those things, I shout out to Mike Mendes in the building. What a Mike. I feel this game gonna be a low scoring and a dog fight. Gonna be a brawl. Hey, we go talk about it right now, the predictions, stuff like that. But before we get to the predictions, I want to talk about the keys to the game. Okay. Give me 3 keys to the game. 20 years, just 3 for the Raiders to win. What do the Raiders have to do to win?
Don't turn the ball over.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying don't turn the ball over, because this team is, again, I believe that they're going to commit a lot to the run. So if you turn the ball over, you don't know how long you'll be without the ball. You know what I'm saying? They may run it the whole field.
Yeah.
And your offense has been sitting on the sideline for 7 minutes. So don't turn the ball over. Run the ball and stop the run. And I'll break that down a little more later this week.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that, I think those 3 are, for me, it's really just stemmed around the run game.
Yeah.
Don't turn the ball over on both sides. Run the ball, stop the run.
Yep. Shout out to Westside Media. What up, Ern? Good to see you. Salute. My 2 cents. No turnovers. Move chains defense. Jack Jones 1 pick. Okay. Win the trenches. Okay. Now I'm going to give mine, right? Number 1, utilize the tight ends. Why I say utilize the tight ends? Exactly what we're talking about. Denzel Perryman. Attack the middle of the field, if I were to put it in perspective. Attack the middle of the field. You have Devontae Adams, that some of his best plays have came from crossing routes and slant routes straight through the middle. Jacoby Myers, really good slot. Also, crossing routes, slant routes. Brock Bowers, good yards after catching it within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Michael Mayer, another guy that's capable of doing that. Hey, I could keep going. Amir Abdullah, good pass catching running back. And then the running back leads me to the second point, and it's gonna go back to the same thing Twuan said. Run the ball. Running the ball will open it up for the offense. Why? Because if you could run the ball decently, the Chargers defense is gonna adjust to that, and that's when you attack them on the field forward with Gardner Minshew, with quick passes, quick slants, quick crossing routes, quick misdirections, quick counters. All those different things is what you need to utilize. And then number 3, make adjustments. And you're going to hear me say that a lot throughout the season. Make adjustments. And it's going to be a lot of my keys to the game to every single one. Because if you cannot make adjustments in the NFL, that can make or break your season. Because a team could hit you with something that you didn't expect. And you got to learn how to, hey, calm down, stay calm, breathe. This is what we're going to do to counter it. And this is how you're going to adjust to it. And that's how you win games. That's one of the most important things. And now, obviously, those are my 3. Go ahead.
I think I've said that every week last year.
Yeah.
Make adjustments, and even more, even more for this reason of this week, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? And even if we knew that, even if we had a team that we knew the coach and all that stuff, we don't know what they've been brewing over the off season. So being able to make that adjustment is going to be key. And AP, said it in Coach AP. I like to put respect on his name. Coach AP has said that he's ready to make those adjustments. Let's see. Because, actions are louder than words, right?
It's a fact. And, hey, speaking, and this is kind of the next topic, man, bold predictions for the game. I love these bold predictions. It was fun last year, and I'm going to continue. And a cool Kev already started off. Lobby gets his first TD in the game. So there you go. A bold prediction there. It's going to be interesting. Abdullah scores and does his roundhouse kick. There's another one. The 2 running back score right there. So, my 2 cents says Zeus scores first and fast. There you go. Don't let Mac wreck this game. He always eats against us. A fact. Twuan, what is your bold predictions for the game? Remember, it doesn't have to be in general. It could be a player, one on offense, one on defense, and just a fun one just to throw it out.
I feel like pulling from last year, but I'm so tempted. And it's what I will say. I'm so tempted to go there, but I'm trying to stay away from it. It's too early. We got 17 more games to go. Yeah. I think Merrick.
Okay. Interception?
He creates a turnover.
Okay.
And I don't know, and that's why I'm saying it like that because it might be him coming downhill, hitting the running back or somebody, and they, they do one of those numbers, or he picks it off. Mm-hmm. So I think he might be a factor in causing a turnover.
Yeah. It says bold prediction. Eric does 3 shows in 1 week. Hey, I'm on 2 this week. All right, I got one more to make that prediction happen. But now give me one on offense, Twuan. Bold prediction on offense.
Dang, I forgot what his numbers were. As much as I say run the ball, I really want DA just to cook.
Cook. Okay.
I just want him. I want him to go for like a $120.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? A good $120. Um, you know, and let dude know, hey, you ain't on my level. I'll say this one because I don't think, and like I said, I was hoping my lofty hope is DA, but I think Zeus goes over 100.
Okay. 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 And speaking of Zeus, he says Zamir, why 2 TDs? Okay. Zeus 150 all-purpose yards. Ern says Thayer Munford pitches a shutout, no sacks or pressures given up. Okay. Okay. We get 5 sacks on Sherbert. Okay. Now let me give you my prediction, my bold prediction right here on defense. I'm gonna say Christian Wilkins gets 2 sacks plus.
Mm-hmm.
Think 2 sacks plus because I'm just thinking from the ability of Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, and Herbert always likes to go through the middle. And same thing with Patrick Mahomes and people. And who's there? Wilkins. So I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 2 plus sacks for Christian Wilkins. Now, on the offense side of the ball, I'm gonna go Trey Tucker with 140 plus yards receiving. I think he could do it. Trey Tucker is one of those guys that I ain't gonna lie. He's one of those that has been very positive in the offseason, a deep threat. And I think we're going to run the ball pretty decently enough for Gardner Minshew to sling it. And I think Gardner Minshew could potentially give some good, accurate throws to Trey Tucker. And that is my bold prediction there. And that's why Twan's doing that, because it's a bold prediction right there. And that's my bold prediction.
Wait,
right
hold on. You said accurate?
I'm gonna say accurate. That's my bold prediction on the offense.
Hey, look, hey, we talking about bold takes?
Yeah, bold takes.
I'm not mad at it.
It's the first game. Gotta swing big right now. Right off rip. Bold prediction. Bold prediction. We're about to get to the realistic predictions. Don't worry. We're about to get to the predictions. Let me make this shirt because I know people are be like, oh, this guy said this. He's delusional. Bold prediction. It's supposed to be bold. It's supposed to be something that is gonna be scratching your head, and that's a scratch in the head. Had to get one. I always do it each game, at least one of them being a scratch in the head, and that's the scratch in the head right there. That's gonna happen. He says Trey gonna have 78 yards. In my opinion, 140 is really, really bold. That's what I'm going for. Tucker makes 150-yard reception. Okay, that's all good.
Let me just say this one, and it's not so bold, but I just want to say, I think Tyreek McAllister is gonna run one back.
Okay, he did it in preseason. Could do it again. Yeah. Shout out to Ducky the Butcher. What's good, Butcher? 238 and 2 TDs for Minshew. And then he says 2 kick return touchdowns. Why the fuck not? Hey, go ahead. Swing big, bro. Hey, I'm doing the same thing with the Gardner Minshew and Trey Tucker connection, man. I'm doing the same thing. SoCal South says Mayer and Bowers with touchdown. Kuntz gets 3 sacks from SoCal South. Okay. These are good bold predictions out here, man. Good bold prediction. Hopefully one of them comes true, right? Hopefully all of them comes true, right? That'll be a good thing. Now let's go to the realistic predictions, right? The realistic predictions, the predictions for the game, what you predict that's truly gonna happen. Now I want Max and Wilkins gets 2 sacks each, and then he says all eyes buys a lottery ticket. Okay, so. Predictions for the game. This is realistic predictions. I need scores from everybody. If you guys don't want to give scores, you guys don't need to. Say Chargers win, Raiders win, whichever you guys want, or give a score prediction, right? But I need a prediction for the game and a realistic output of what we're actually going to see from the teams. Go ahead, Twuan. Kick it off.
You always put me in the hot seat.
Or you want me to go first? I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead this time, because I'm over here.
Because it's the first game. Because it's the first game, I'm gonna give an actual prediction, a scoreline prediction for the first game. I know I usually don't do it, but I'm gonna do it. Shout out to Mike Mendes. Realistic prediction: we get our first dub in SoFi. There you go. We will sweep the division this year. Raiders win 24-14. Raiders win 27-10, 24-10, 23-13. Now, my prediction is 28 Raiders. 14, actually 28 Raiders and Chargers 17. 28-17 is my prediction. I think the Chargers will score 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and the Raiders will score 3+ touchdowns to get to the 28 mark there. I think 28-17 Raiders win. And yeah, that's my prediction. And as far as players wise, I think Gardner Minshew will do just enough to get the W. I think our running back room will do a decent amount of job. I think they'll get at least 100+ yards as a collective unit. And the defensive line is going to get more than, or the defense in general will get more than 5 sacks. This hopefully, I'm predicting, and a couple takeaways, hopefully, as well. Gardner Minshew throws for 2 TDs and an interception. Devontae and Brock scores. Zamir White will score a TD. There you go, man. It's realistic. Jaquan Bennett will get an interception. Okay, Gilitarian. And shout out to Lunatic in the building. Raider Allegiance. Salute. Salute to everybody coming on in, man. Hopefully I skip anybody. Salute. But do you got your prediction? 17-10 Raiders right there.
24.
17. 24-17. Okay.
Raiders.
Okay.
I think this might be the actually, and I'll be honest with you, I think this might actually be the week we could really jump on the Chargers.
Yeah.
Because I think later on, if they stay healthy, because you remember that that's their issue, and that's hey, look, that's their problem, right? But I think it might be tougher later on when they start to, really lock in on Harbaugh's system. But I think this might be the game we really jump on them. Even though I said the score that I'm saying that in the sense of we're still trying to figure things out too. But I think we'll win this one.
Okay. All I says 24-13. Minshew 300 yards and 2 TDs. Tyree's a half a sack. Damn, that's bold. I ain't gonna lie, in my opinion. See, I'm scoring the basic ass scores. Shout out to everybody, man. 27-17 D Menace. Herman says 24-14. Westside says 24-23 Raiders in a squeaker. So a field goal wins it. I believe that's what it's going to come down to, field goal to believe it. Offense is not refined. It's still being implemented. There's going to be lots of hiccups and growing pains, and that's a fact. And another fact of the matter is the defense is capable of scoring. So that's why my score prediction has a high point, because I believe that the offense is not going to be the only one that scores. And I think this defense is going to be really a defense that could at least score once, like they did towards the tail end of last year, or a defense that could give them pretty good field position so they could at least get 3 points on the board each drive. That's what I'm basing it on, right? But obviously the offense is going to we're going to come back in the post game, everybody, and we're going to say the same thing. Oh, wow, the offense looked a little shaky, but we still won. It's going to most likely be like that the post games. Shout out to Eric Raiders Hater Hunter, Erica Chana in the building. Salute Nation. From my point of view, another cornerback is needed. We will see. They might sign another cornerback after this game, maybe. Maybe they're going to test run this game. We're going to see what happens. They are going against some mediocre wide receivers, but the problem is just like Circus said earlier, we always make mediocre look really good, but McConkey, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnson are the 3 receivers for them. So we're going to see what happens there. And then their tight end room, I didn't even speak about their tight end room. Will Disley, Hayden Hurst, Stone Smart. They lost pretty much Dylan Parham and everybody else. Yeah. So
I'm not really scared of their tight end.
Yeah, I ain't scared of it either.
But again, like you said, they make the wide receivers look like that. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, we always struggle with tight ends,
especially coming from, the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? I'm tagging on to the Ravens and even the Niners. You know what I'm saying? They ran the ball and they threw a lot to their tight end. So,
yeah,
we'll
see.
Disley might get a couple of touches here and, some action here and there. But,
yeah,
It's not, I'll take our tight end room over their room any day.
Facts. And shout out to Egalitarian. He says Mad Max, Crosby, Malcolm Coons, Christian Wilkins, and Janarius Robinson will each record what the heck happened to my screen? Something happened to my screen. Yeah, but he says Janarius Robinson will all each record a sack. Okay.
You
He
good?
says there are no other quality. Yeah, I'm good now. I go. My thing was tripping. There are no other quality quarterbacks to sign. He's talking about cornerback, Rambo. If you're speaking to what he was saying, he'll say cornerback, like as in the defensive back, right? I don't sleep on McConkey. I'm not, man. I like him coming out of Georgia. I'm not gonna lie. McConkey is a really good receiver coming out, a late round gem that I considered it, but he got picked pretty high. So that's something to look at. Eric backs off from his Vegemite bet. I never made a Vegemite bet, but I said I was gonna try some Vegemite, and I will still. During the season, obviously. Las Vegas Raiders offensive line must block extremely well against the Los Angeles Chargers defensive line. That's a fact. You heard it from me first. That's a fact, man. I like McConkey, man. I like McConkey. Jack Jones, 1 pick. Palomal, 1 sack. There you go, man. Hey, Palomal. Shout out to Palomal, man, representing Fight On. But going to run heavy both teams this Sunday. This team that runs the best will win the game, in my opinion. Okay, Raider Nation for life. Shout out to Rambo in the building. I ain't trying no damn Vegemite. I am though. Because if you know my story, I'm dating an Aussie. So yeah, that's what.
He's trying the Vegemite.
Yeah, I'm trying the. Yeah, you feel me? So yeah, so shout out to everybody.
I need to stop, man.
Yeah, it's a fact. But of
pray
course,
for me. Pray for me, y'all.
But of course, that has to do with, obviously, it was very vanilla between me and Twuan about the game, because obviously we're both gonna have shows later on in the week to kind of go more in depth into the game on Sunday. But speaking of that, Twuan, let them know when your next show is and all those things, and if anything else.
I got one question.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I'll say mine too, because I want to put this on.
Mm-hmm.
What is your season total?
So it was 11 wins before anything, right? It was 11 wins when the season schedule came out. Now I've been sleeping on it, and I've been kind of wrapping my head around it and what the realistic output is, because I don't like going against my word. You know me. I don't like going against my word, and my word was always 11. But this time I'm changing it, just due to the fact that I have to be real. I'm a guy that I'd rather be real than continue to be going down a path of high expectations and then getting disappointed every year. So my realistic win total in the season is, and obviously I think they could do better than this, is 9, around the 9-10 range. I think 10 is what I'm more leaning towards, just because that's what they're capable of. But until the first, second, third game happens, I'm going with 9 now. But they are going to be in the hunt for the playoffs, and I predict that they'll most likely make a run for the playoffs. Hopefully. That's my realistic output there.
I got you on that, because I feel you about the adjustment, right? Yeah. Because we talked about this on the show. We talked about, when the schedule release came out, we started marking out win, loss, right? And for me personally, I won't even, I had 12-4.
Okay.
Just looking at our schedule. And this was before preseason. This was before, quarterbacks was solidified, all of that. I felt that we could really win 12 games. And I'm in the limbo of 8 games, us being either 8-9, doing what we did last year, or 9-8. And I'm leaning more towards 9-8, because I think this is a better team. It's just a lot of, hopefully this stuff, all this stuff can gel. Now, can they exceed the limit? Of course. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think I before it all was said, I think we could have won 12 games. But that's where it's at. So I'm at 9-8, for the season, and hopefully, we can build from this and get better and all of that. I'm still positive about this team. I'm still optimistic about some of the guys that need to mature and get better. We didn't talk about that, but of course we'll talk about. We have a long season to go. But I have us at 9-8 right now.
Shout out to Chile in the building. 7 wins realistic, 13 high, 10 bottom, 9-8 unless we get some good bounces. Where y'all see 10 wins? And I'm glad you asked that because I got some facts and some reason behind what I say about 10 wins. And it's the fact that we won 8 last year. Now you look at some of the games we lost, right? Chicago. We should have never lost to Chicago, bro. I don't care what anybody says. We should have never lost to Badgett or whatever the goddamn name he is. We should have never. That's a game we dropped the ball on, right? And then another game, I believe, if I got my correction correct, the Miami Dolphin game was pretty close. The Miami Dolphin game was one touchdown, poor decisions. Now, Josh McDaniels happened last year. McDipshit, right? McDipshit. And we also didn't have no interior pressure. Now we have interior pressure. We also had a coaching staff that we had an offensive coordinator that he couldn't even call plays on Madden. Right? So that's why I think that last year we were an 8-win team, and there's no way in hell nobody could say we did not get better this year. We are way better than what we were last year. You could say what you want from the quarterback, but let's be honest, anything is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And I hate doing that mediocre route because I hate talking about mediocre, right? At the end of the day. But obviously, we won 8 games last year. We dropped the ball on at least 5. Nothing hurts 2 more wins. Nothing hurts with 2 more wins. And we should have had 2 more wins last year. And we dropped the ball on it. Why? Because of the coaching staff, because of the poor decisions from certain players, and the poor offensive play call that was happening. And then obviously a quarterback that couldn't even throw 10 yards with some accuracy. So that's why I say 10 wins. And I mean, I'm going to stand on it. And it's a realistic output. And I think I have some truth to it. And the reason why I say it, right?
And it's still over what Las Vegas betting is telling us. So, that 6.5, we still over the 6.5.
Yeah. That's a fact. So Pittsburgh and Minnesota games, maybe the Colts. I remember when stupid Raider fans were saying Jimmy G was an upgrade. I remember, Ern, you can't say I was. Ern, you were on the shows with me. You would know that I wasn't saying that Jimmy G was an upgrade over DC, so you could vouch for me there. I wasn't one of those, so you know me.
I got a whole video on it.
Yeah.
That told everybody that I wasn't with Jimmy G. Deep ball matters if you really want to watch it.
Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to Chila. I don't know if I shouted you out, but of course we're coming to the tail end of the thing. Let me know what's upcoming schedule for you, Twuan. What videos, lives, sports, anything. Let them know, man, where they can find you as well.
Man, I've been whipping up the, whipping up the work, behind the scenes. I know I've been going once a week, during the off season, obviously with my brother, and had some situations to deal with. But I'm coming with y'all.
Yeah.
At least 3 times a week. Okay. I got the game plan. The game plan is where I actually break down in depth what we need to do in regards to each team. What are the keys to success?
Yeah.
Even if I believe that we may lose that game, I'm still going to give you keys to success, and also players to look out for on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And the keys to the game, same thing. Offensively and defensively, I'll give you some keys to that. I also will be bringing back who ate the brown crackers. And those that don't know who who don't know what that's about, come on and watch Who Ate the Brown Crackers, and I'll break down more about that. But it's in short, I'll be picking one player, win or lose, that I felt did a great job. So it could be, Zeus rushed for 150, but we still lost the game. So it might be a situation like that, but I'll be highlighting one player or somebody that's on the field. It could be the head coach. It could be, whatever, somebody on the field. One of those players or personnels will be eating brown crackers for that week.
Facts.
And that's what I got. Unless I go live, with other content creators. If you are interested in having me on your show, definitely hit me up on IG at Twuan, TWUAN. I work with all content creators. So if you're interested in having me on your show, talking a little Raider football or just about life or whatever the topic is, hit me up on IG and I'm available for that. But definitely the season is here. I'm so excited, and I'll be coming at you guys at least 3 times a week. Of course, I'll always be here with 2 for 1 Nation. Podcast.
And same me 3 times a week. I know last week I didn't go on Saturday, but of course now the season underway, most likely it will be the 3 time, maybe 4, depending on what. Of course, if you guys don't know the schedule, I always put this up every live. I might change the Monday to 6 p.m. So I might change that to 6 p.m. Not sure yet, but of course Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. of course on Wednesdays today, and then on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. With this week, I don't know if I'm going to the LA game, which will suck because that means this is the first LA game since the move that I haven't gone to. But if I don't, most likely, depending on what I do on Sunday, I might do a play-by-play on Sunday. I might return that, because if anybody knows about my show and where I started and stuff like that, I was doing play-by-plays before this, right? So of course that's something that might happen. But Saturday for sure, Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll be there previewing the game as well. And it's a short live. Obviously, every Saturday is a short live. You guys seen it last week, short live. So stay tuned for that as well.
Also, you guys, stay tuned for 2 for 1 Nation podcast. We will be dropping a special segment. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about it. Me and Eric talk about it behind the scenes, but we got a little special segment that we'll have starting next week, because now it will be week, the recap of week 1. So we there's a special segment. I'm so excited about that. And also for the RaiderTwuan channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. For those that are actually, it will be on the 2 for 1 Nation podcast. I will also release. I'm adding new mods, so I'll be letting you guys know the new additions to the mods for the RaiderTwuan channel on the 2 for 1 Nation podcast. So those that know that I've contacted, I will be releasing it on Wednesday. So definitely be here Wednesday so you can hear the announcement for that. So adding mods, new segment for the 2 for 1 Nation podcast, and we got a whole lot for you guys. So do not miss it here with us.
Shout out to Protect the Shield in the building. Shout out to everybody coming on in, man. Of course. Peace out right now from Thailand. Hey, shout out to Thailand and shout out to everybody. And no, I'm not wearing no Dickie shorts if I go. Okay, relax. All right. But anyways, blessings to you guys, your families, man. Thank you for coming on to another episode of 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man. We appreciate all the love and support, man. Subscribe if you know, if you like the content. Like I said, subscribe. Go check out the shorts and all that stuff as well. Again, I'll be live Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And on top of that, tough time there last, but tough people doing you guys are the tough people. Life is too short, so always tell your loved ones you love them. And of course, man, blessings to you guys, man. Have a great rest of your week. Hopefully to see you guys some Saturday, and if not, Sunday maybe. And let's get that win like always, man. And like always, you already know what it is. One Nation Podcast. RaiderTwuan. NC Raiders Talk. aka boy Egg, and we are out. Peace.
Commitment to excellence. There's a commitment to excellence. The greatest players could get the greatest coaches. The great